Patrick Lencioni shared, "Teamwork truly is the greatest competitive advantage that any group can have." And in thinking about teams and the way they function and what helps them perform their best, I began thinking about the individual and how they contribute and work together on a team. And in doing some research on teams and what helps them perform their best, I found that 61% of employees are burned out on the job. And burnout can look like a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion from employees in the workplace. This can be caused by being in a role that might not be a good fit for them or overwork on the job. And in finding some more information about it, I saw that disengaged employees cost U.S. companies up to $550 billion a year. So not only is it strenuous for employees to be working on a team or working in a workspace that isn't a good fit for them, it can also be financially draining for companies to work alongside employees who aren't working at their best. I also found that employees who feel their voice are heard are 4.6 times more likely to feel empowered to perform at their best. So in feeling heard and in feeling valued at their workspace, they were more likely to perform better and ultimately work alongside their team in a more productive way. And lastly, I saw that 89% of HR leaders found that peer feedback and check-ins were key for successful outcomes. So it was crucial for team members to be communicating with one another about their work performance, their projects, in order to work successfully on a team. And this was something that Jenna understood. Jenna is an HR specialist working in downtown Phoenix, and she found that her coworkers weren't doing very well on the job. They were struggling to come in happy and ready to work. They were often burnt out and struggling to do what they could at their jobs. And Jenna made it her mission to find a solution to help her team work healthy and to provide more value for her team while they worked. And Derek works alongside Jenna and often feels that frustration at work, often feels as though he's not being heard or that he can't communicate his needs while he's at work, and ultimately doesn't really feel as if he's a part of the team and can feel a lot of strain in his workplace. And my solution to this problem was OneGoal. And OneGoal offers a project health system with data-driven solutions for businesses to work at their best. And essentially, this just looks like checking in with your team to see how they're doing. Using artificial intelligence and chatbots, OneGoal is a system. It's a plug-in system that works alongside project management platforms to be able to connect with your team throughout the day as they're working on their projects. So this is a better view of what it would look like. Teams would click on the OneGoal extension to begin working on their project, and they may receive a notification throughout their day as they're working on this project. And after clicking on the notification, they'll begin a conversation with the chatbot to check in on that project that they were working on. They'll be able to provide some feedback on how they're working and then start a conversation. The OneGoal application will say, how are things going? What seems to be the problem? And the team members will be able to communicate how they're feeling. In addition to this, they can provide a status update on where they're currently at the project that will be documented in the OneGoal system. So as we can see that here, all of that data that they just put in has been collected on the OneGoal check-in system and can be there for their use and review whenever they feel like it. So this will also be available on a mobile view. They'll receive an alert to check in on a project, and as they touch base on that project, again, just looking very similar to what we had just done, they can respond with how they're doing, touch base on what the problem seems to be, communicate how they're doing on that project, and then see a recommendation from the system and provide a status update on how they're doing. They'll also be able to add a manual check-in if they're finishing up a project or want to take a stopping point. They'll be able to add in the project name and the project status and submit it where it will then again be reviewed in their check-in system. So this is essentially what it would look like for employees as they're working on this system. And for employers, they'll be able to see a dashboard that provides all of the health information, the check-ins, and the current active projects, as well as their project statuses. And on this page, they'll be able to see all the information of the check-ins from their team members that they're currently inputting, as well as on this health chart here, you can see this team is at a low risk, and they'll be able to browse some team bonding options to celebrate their hard work. So as we can see here, this information, this health organization report, is being pulled based on what projects are currently on schedule, if their deadlines are being reached, and all the recent check-ins from the feedback that they're getting from their team. So as we can see here, all of this information is being pulled from their project management system. And as they're working throughout the day, team leads might also receive a notification of a time that a team might need their help. And in clicking on that notification, they'll be brought to a page that allows them to review the alert and see the recent check-ins that their team members are posting on a project of ways that they may need help, and offer some insight from the One Goal team, as the application will provide some resources on ways to help you manage your team as they're going through a challenging moment with the project. In addition to this, I would like to advertise One Goal using a landing page, printed collateral, and social media. So this is what the landing page would look like. It would start with a call to action with some insight into how it works by partnering with your platforms, by touching base with your team, and then getting some analyzed results based on those check-ins. It'll also provide a section to connect with people using a newsletter, to be able to stay connected with resources on healthy organizations and how they function. In addition to that, our social media will, again, just continue to promote healthy organizations, healthy work, by offering resources like how to write a project status update, and what are good ways to celebrate with your team, and overall branding of continued encouragement of downloading the application or working on the system. And lastly, there will be printed collateral that will be posted in areas like co-working spaces and shared in areas like a chamber of commerce that will continue to promote everyone's overall goal of working on happy and healthy teams, and a place that they're able to go and download it. Here's some additional information on some of the research that I found. Thank you again for taking the time to watch through this presentation and learn a little bit more about organizational health. Thanks.